Welcome, everyone, to the Board of Commissioners meeting, June 18. At this time, I'll ask the City Clerk, Beth Cecil, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Jeff Sanford.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor
Here.
Tom Watson. Mayor Pro Tem Larry Magliner.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, we'll have the invocation and the pledge of the flag. Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Please bow your head and pray with me if that be your choice. Father God, here we are again, your public servants, asking for guidance as we make decisions for this, our community. Dear Lord, give us wisdom, guide our hearts, and fill us with love for our fellow man. Dear Lord, we thank you for those who are concerned enough about our city, concerned enough to come to this place to seek answers to the sadness we are experiencing. I pray that you will bless each one of them as you bless our first responders and our men and women in uniform, wherever they may be. These things I ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on tonight's agenda, Owensboro Catholic High School Track and Field Recognition and Proclamation. Okay, fun part being made. Have an opportunity to recognize some of our outstanding youth.
Like that. That's a youth speaker.
What was that? Huh? Oh, that's good. I can understand it now. Okay, the City of Owensboro does hereby proclaim, whereas in 2019, the Owensboro Catholic High School track and field boys and girls team had a record-breaking season. Whereas under the leadership and guidance of coaches Jim Ivey, Scott Lowe, Ron Hogg, and Kitty Jones, the girls team competed in the Class A2 second regional championship, bringing home the championship trophy for the fourth year in a row, and also won their first ever title at the KTCCCA Indoor State Championship. The boys teams finished a strong third place win, whereas the Owensboro Catholic High School girls and track field team brought home the state championship in the 4x100 meter relay. And the boys placed second at the KHSAA Class A State Championship, which was held at the University of Kentucky Outdoor Track Facility in Lexington, Kentucky. And whereas the Owensboro Board of Commissioners recognizes the Owensboro Catholic High School track and field team members for their accomplishments they achieved over the past several months and for their hard work, dedication, perseverance, and love of the sport of track and field. And whereas the Owensboro Board of Commissioners recognizes the Owensboro Catholic High School track and field team for representing Owensboro, Kentucky in such a manner that has brought pride to our great city. Now therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim June 18, 2019 as Owensboro Catholic High School Track and Field Team Day in Owensboro, and urge all citizens to join in recognizing and in honoring the 2018-2019 Owensboro Catholic High School Track and Field Team, signed and sealed this 18th day of June, 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to do this with all you? All y'all just come up and we'll have a joint picture. Ivy, when you ever going to gain some weight, man? My gosh, he look. Golly. How you doing? Good. No better.
They want to stand behind you.
Sam saw the mayor, or is he gross you out, or what's up?
He doesn't.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going to hide. I thought you.
Congratulations, you all. Congratulations.
Hey.
Second. All right.
All the way here just
Hey guys, y'all come back in here just for a second.
And girls.
I want to brag on y'all. I'll just say in my 29 years of coaching, which I just finished up at Catholic, in a lot of ways, these two teams were very challenging to coach. But yet, when it was all the dust settled, the most rewarding in the things that we accomplished. And I will tell you that I challenge them, and it's almost like a subliminal message that I've got 3 goals when we start out. Love your teammates, do what's right, and if you don't know, go to the Bible, and try your best. And if we do those 3 things, we're going to be successful. And this team had great success. They loved each other. They treated each other in a Christian way and supporting one another. Sometimes in sports, it's all about me. They rose to that challenge. It wasn't about them. It was about team. We asked some of them to do some things that maybe they liked another event better, but it was all about team. And they tried their best. And I will tell you, we had 7, if I'm counting right in my old brain, 7 records go down, school records. And 4 of them happened at the state meet outdoor when you want it to happen, when you really want it to happen, and it happened. So hats off to them. At this time, we get to the end of the year, I tell people all I do is drive the bus. Thank you, Mayor Watson.
All right.
And I coached with that guy. I remember when he was Coach Watson.
That's right, and I still am.
Thank y'all.
See y'all. You gonna take that little rowdy child out with you?
Oh, thank you.
Did you call me?
Oh. They don't move very fast for track team, I'll tell you that. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the Senior Community Center of Owensboro, Davis County update. We had Miss Peebler here a while back, but she had screamed so much at the older people at the center that she had lost her voice. So today she's going to tell us about the center and all the things that are going on here. Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
I'm Dana Peebler, and my address is 4883 Oak Meadow Court. And yeah, I'm going to go down in history as the person that
Froggy, we're going to call you
coughed
Froggy
herself
from now
through
on.
the commission meeting. Yeah. Thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I've had people on the street go, "Are you feeling better?" Didn't know I'm from Adam. So yeah.
That's Facebook Live for you. You don't have a chance.
I know, you really don't. I need my glasses, though, because I can't see. So right-click to advance, yes? All right, so thank you for having us back. I'm so glad to see all you young people in here because I want to know how many of you all know what the Senior Community Center does. Anybody know what we do over at the Senior Center?
Austin does. He's raised his
Yeah, yeah. So, yay, I get to educate some folks. This is exciting. So
You have 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Oh, now, come on now. So, we are a community center for anyone over the age of 60 or even younger than that if they are there with someone who is the age of 60. And about, almost 70% of the folks that we have had come this first quarter are female and live alone. So they're getting out, they're enjoying themselves. The majority are Caucasian, followed by African American, and then Hispanic and Asian. Every income level. So if you think that most of them are low income, that's just a myth. It's not. It's all incomes. So we have city and county both. We have 58% are within the city, 42% live within the county. And then the average age of the folks that come at the senior center are about 72. Used to be about 75, and so they're getting a little bit younger, but guess what? Our population is about 50. About 50% of our population now is 50 and over. So look at that. The boomers are starting to really take over our economy and everything else. 75% of the clients that we have are there 1 to 3 times a week, and they spend about 3.5 hours a day there. So why do we do it? Well, why, what, and where? Our goal there is to provide programs and services that help seniors stay healthy and independent. Independent is the key. The reason that we want them to stay independent is because it's cheaper on our state. It's cheaper on our city. Did you know, I learned this week. Well, I actually learned it last week, but all my weeks are running together. So it costs about $7,000 a month to keep someone in a private room in a nursing home. $7,000 a month right now, this in Kentucky. Right now in this year. In the year 2028, it's going to cost about $128,000 a year to do that. One meal, one meal a day, somebody checking on them and providing in-home services is going to cost about $53,000 a year. So the services that we provide at the Senior Center is really going to cut down on costs that the state is going to have to come up with. And so that's partly what we're here to do at the Senior Center, but we're also here to provide services that strengthen our community, that you all are going to grow up and want to enjoy. We serve about 1,400 clients in 5 locations in Davis County. We're at Park Regency, we're at Roosevelt's House, we are at Adams Village and Whitesville Senior Center, and then we're also at the Monday Center, which is right down here at 1650 West 2nd Street. Why go there? National Council on Aging, oops, I'm sorry, y'all. There we go. The National Council on Aging tells us that research shows senior center participants are better able to learn to manage and delay chronic diseases. When you're thinking about a card game or your next pool shot, you're not thinking about the fact that your knee hurts. You're not thinking about how life used to be or the fact that your kids, that life was different. You're not thinking about that you used to have a house full of kids and it's a little quieter now. You're just thinking about your next pull shot. You're just thinking about how you're going to trick somebody into thinking that you didn't just slide that pool ball into that corner pocket and nobody saw you do it. When you're learning a new language or taking a computer class, your self-esteem is boosted. You just learned a new skill. And when you're taking a yoga or a Zumba class, and I just did this recently. When you're taking those classes, you're strengthened. You're physically strengthened. You're able to pick up your grandson and walk across the room without your knee buckling. That's a big deal. Because number one, your daughter's not mad at you because you just threw him all over the living room floor. And you feel better about, you didn't throw your neck out, and your quality of life has just improved exponentially. So the Senior Center offers opportunities. It may sound silly, but it's offering opportunities for you to all of a sudden just completely feel better about yourself, feel better about life in general. When you wake up in the morning and you notice these improvements about yourself and you have something to look forward to, it exposes you to different conversations and, fresh air and just building relationships. Our first quarter impact, it's hard to see, but our first quarter impact, this is what we did. I gave you guys, when I was in here and coughing, and I did give you all a sheet that gave the end of year numbers, so I just wanted to give you all January through March. Home delivered meals, we did 8,200. Congregate, and what congregate is, people come there and have lunch 5 days a week in our center. Can y'all hear me okay? They come have lunch 5 days a week.
Stay in front of the mic, we can all hear you.
Well, I thought I was.
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All right.
Senior moment.
Yeah. Trying not to yell,
No, go ahead and yell.
5 days a week, and then in our other centers, they come different days of the week, and that's on our website, seniorcenterodc.com. It's also in our newsletter that we send out. They have lunch at those different places, and those we've done about 6,800 in just the last 3 months. We provide transportation to any of those locations. We'll take people to if you've got somebody that needs to go to the doctor, a loved one that needs to go to the doctor, if they need to take their pet to the vet, if they just want to go to lunch, if they want to go to Colby's, if they just want to go to the shoe store, if whatever they need to do or get out, if they want to go walk down to the river, if whatever they want to do, we can take them there for a suggested donation of $1.50 or free. If they don't have $1.50, if they can't find change, we'll take them. We did 8,422 trips just in the last quarter. Information and assistance. People call us and go, hey, we're going to get my taxes done for free. And we'll answer that question. People will call us and go, do you know where I can buy blah, blah, blah? Yep, I do. Or, you know what, let me find out. We answer those kinds of questions all day long. Wellness checks. We'll call your loved one and check in on them every day if you want. We'll call once a month. We'll make physical visits and just to check in, just to see how they're doing, just to put an extra set of eyes and ears on them. We know you're working. We know we know you're busy, and we're wanting to increase their independence. We're wanting to take that burden off the state of Kentucky and keep them in their home. We want people to be where they want to be for as long as they want to be there. That's why we're there. Let us do it. Health promotion, that's our Zumba, that's our yoga, that's our Tai Chi, that's our fitness room. That's the water aerobics that we're starting back up. All those things together, that strengthens people. Believe it or not, as you age, we don't have to lose muscle. We just tell ourselves that so we can be lazy. I tell myself that. And I am lazy. Social and recreational activities. We have parties, we have pool, we have card games. I learned a new name for a card game called Pass the Trash today. Anybody play that? Apparently they play that down in Whitesville. Lots of it. And so I'm going to go learn it. In my house, Pass the Trash is, I don't want to pick that up. I didn't drop it. So adult education classes, different language classes, computer classes, all kinds of stuff. And then we have a huge volunteer program, about $107,000 in the last quarter worth of a volunteer program. And so I just wanted to share the first quarter impact with you guys, what we had done. We're really excited about what we've been able to do, what we're doing, the direction that we're going. We've got a new program, Senior Friendly Business. We've had 5 businesses that we've worked with so far. We've got 3 that have finished the program. We do go in, we provide some training. We do brainstorming with them to see where they're at. We'll do a quick survey, evaluate their business to see kind of, do they have arms on the chairs? Yep, somebody with a knee problem or hip problem can get out of that chair pretty easy. Do they offer assistance opening the door? Just simple little things. Work with them on how to, if they need improvement, work with them on that, and then offer them just a little sticker that tells the community, hey, I made this effort. And we're excited about that. Some more up-and-coming programs. Thank you so much for signing the intent for the age-friendly community. You and the judge have committed to do that. Thanks, Abby, for your efforts on that. We are so excited about that. Spent some time in Louisville last week. Looks like maybe the state is going to go in that direction. I'm not sure when that's going to come about, but it's an exciting effort, and everybody's looking forward to what we can do to bring all age groups together to best meet everybody's needs. And I guess I'm open for questions. I do want to share just one quick thing. We do have open right now, and I don't have a slide about it, but we have our, it's our annual event where we have our Silver Salute nominations, and people can be nominated for, in 4 categories: the education, the faith, and I'm drawing a blank, but I have the nomination forms here with me, and so I will look at them very quickly. But it's the education, the faith, the Inspiration Award, and the Elizabeth Monday Award. The Education Award, anyone 60 and over who's made a contribution in the field of education. Anybody in the faith community who's 60 and over. Anybody who's made a positive difference in military service. Any kind of professional through serving their country. So it can be any kind of first responder, anything like that. And then anybody that of any age who's made a contribution to the senior community. Here are the nomination forms. We would love it if you all would nominate people in the community. The judges are not local. They don't know you. They don't know anybody from this community. It is completely anonymous. I have these forms tonight. I will leave them up here for anybody that wishes to take one. And one thing that I do weekly for our staff, and I want to read just 2 or 3, and then I'll sit down and I'll close my mouth. I ask the staff to send me their weekly wins, and this is something I do just to end our week on a happy note. And this is what our home-delivered meal drivers do, and they tell me things that their clients asked. I said, send me your weekly win. What made you happy this week? Here's one from one of our drivers. I helped this client with her TV. She couldn't get her cable to work. It's all in the remote. I took an elderly client to watch her I took an elderly client to get her watch fixed. It made her day. She was full of smiles and hugs. No, she didn't have to do that. She didn't have to do that. Miss such and such hugged me and told me she loved me for all I do. Each Thursday, I collect the cans of soda that such and such drinks for a week. Let me tell you, it's a lot. Then I give them to such and such who turns them into recycle. I installed batteries in Miss such and such's remote for her TV. On such and such, on 5/16, I assembled a little fan for such and such. She was having trouble putting it together. I plugged it in the wall. These are little things that our clients can't do for themselves. Our home-delivered meal drivers do it for them. It's not about just dropping off a meal. It's about learning what they need. It's about fulfilling that need. It's about learning about their patterns, knowing that that person answers the door every day, and then when they don't, they call their emergency contact and say, your dad didn't answer the door today, I'm worried. And then that person calls their dad and finds out he's laying on the floor. And she goes home and he ends up in the hospital, but he's alive and he goes home. And guess what? He's still independent. And that's what our drivers do. And that's why we're here. And I thank you, Mayor, and all you commissioners for letting us continue to do it.
Thank you. Okay, fun stuff's over. Now we go to number 5A, consider approval of minutes dated June 4, 2019, June 11, 2019. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, consider the following board appointments. Wesleyan Shawnee Neighborhood Alliance, reappoint Dr. Clyde Miller to a 2-year term expiring April the 24th, 2021. The Medical Authority Board, Medical Authority for Emergency Medical Services / Ambulance, appoint Paul Nave to a 4-year term expiring June 18, 2023. And Owensboro Davis County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Directors appoint David Johnson to a 3-year term expiring July the 1st, 2021. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay, anybody have any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Must be Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
If City Manager Nate Pagan, if you could address, one appointment is not necessarily anything with Paul Nave, but could you describe in maybe a little bit of detail, what is the Medical Control Authority Emergency Board Services / Ambulance? What does that board do? Who's on it, and what does it really do?
City Manager Pagan.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
The board, I believe, has 9 voting members, 4 appointees from the city, 4 appointees from the county. For both the city and the county, I believe 1 rep is a rep of the fire department and 1 of law enforcement. And it's the law enforcement spot that Paul Nave is being appointed to today. Each body has 2 other members, and also the 9th voting member is the director of the emergency department at the hospital. The board is created to oversee and administer the contract with the community's ambulance provider.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Nate.
Welcome. I would like to make a comment about appointing David Johnson. In years past, the city was granted an appointment to the Visitors Bureau by fiscal court. It was supposed to be a 2-year term, 2 terms. That was served by someone else. And then we appointed Tim Ross, who probably has more experience and more knowledge than anybody in this community about putting on events. We were presented with a note from County Attorney Claude Porter, and understanding that appointment needed to be someone that was representing a business. We appointed David Johnson to take over that spot for the city of Owensboro. And Tim Ross has been granted adjunct board privileges, which I hope he takes advantage of, because he's a very big asset when it comes to visitors and conventions and all the things that go on for public events. So, Tim, thank you for your service on the board. Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, second readings, none. Item 7, ordinance, first reading, none. Item 8, municipal orders. Counselor.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. First municipal order tonight is Municipal Order 18-2019, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of agreement with the Davis County Fiscal Court, renewing the terms by which the city of Owensboro and Davis County will operate the consolidated 911 dispatch services and the allocation of resources to fund the operational cost, introduced and publicly read for approval this 18th day of June 2019.
Thank you, Counselor. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager, do you have any comments?
Yes, just briefly, Mayor, for the last several years, the city and the county have had a series of 3-year agreements authorizing consolidated or central dispatch, which is housed in the police department. This municipal order authorizes 3 additional years of central dispatch with our current structure. There are a few minor changes to this agreement compared to previous arrangements or agreements, but nothing substantial. The city and the county share operational costs based on the call volume for each organization. In the new agreement, the city's share decreases from 75% to 73%. And we also removed a couple of sections with language that was no longer relevant, such as references to employee benefits that transferred when dispatch was initially combined, and language referred to projects already approved and funded.
Thank you. Any other discussion on the commission? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, city manager items. At this time, I'll recognize Angela Hamrick for consider financial report for the period ending April 30th, 2019. Ms. Hamrick.
Yes, Mayor and Commission. The financial report for the month ended April 30, 2019. Our general fund revenues through April were $50,381,410 and were $1,900,211 over budget, primarily due to net profits. Our general fund expenditures of $42,833,922 were $2,650,221 under budget, primarily due to timing in maintenance, supplies, and the other category, and also due to savings in personnel services due to vacancies. Outside of timing variances, the revenues and expenditures in our other funds are in line with the year-to-date budget. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Hearing none, I'll make a motion to file for audit. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 9B, consider personnel appointment. City manager.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Tonight we have John Berry, probationary full-time non-civil service appointment to instrument technician with Public Works Engineering, effective July 8th. Nicholas Bramslauber, Jeffrey Glass, and Kenneth Winchester, probationary full-time non-civil service appointments to Network Systems Administrator with Information Technology Department, effective June 23rd. Ryan Kaufman, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to captain with the fire department, effective June 24th. James Grant, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to captain with the fire department, effective June 24th. James Howard, regular non-civil service full-time appointment to battalion chief with the fire department, effective June 24th. Jason Pickrell, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to battalion chief, effective June 24th. Kyle Veach, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to fire lieutenant with the fire department, effective June 24th. William Martin, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to refuse truck driver with sanitation, effective June 24th. And Bruce Bryant, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to laborer with the police department, effective June 25th.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
At this time, we'd like to call Josh. Is this the right time to do it? I thought so. Bachmeyer, is that right?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Tell us who you are and where you live.
Josh Bachmeyer, I'm the HR manager for the city, and I live here at 101 East 4th Street.
Well, I thought it'd be advantageous to the public to understand just how this promotion process works. It's complicated, and a lot of us as elected officials get questioned, why did this guy or gal get this or that? So we thought we'd let the HR director give us a brief explanation of how this happens.
As brief as I can be. So police and fire fall under Kentucky Revised Statute 95, which establishes the promotional process in large. The city uses for all command positions, so anything beyond entry-level police officer, entry-level firefighter, an assessment center process. So on the forefront of that, we obviously went through an assessment center, and basically what it does is, rather than just using a written exam that doesn't really test the abilities of the candidates, on a leadership level, we use the assessment center, which kind of combines both written exercises and real-world scenarios. I guess the freshest one on my mind is the fire lieutenant assessment center that we actually conducted last week. So these candidates would have written exercises that they would complete throughout the day, which are scored by unbiased assessors from I think Henderson and Bowling Green and Madisonville were the assessors that we used last week. And then combine that with real world scenarios. So it may be a fire scene that they kind of go through the scene and rationalize their deployment of personnel and equipment and apparatus. From that point, the assessors score them. You establish your top group, obviously, and the city uses the rule of 5 N. So we take the top 5 candidates, purely score-based, and they move on to a final interview with typically the command staff of both fire and police departments. And then they basically make their offers from that top group. So it kind of it tests, like I said, more leadership qualities than people that are just good at taking written tests. So it's a good process. We moved to probably 4 or 5 years ago, longer. I think chief police has used it longer than fire, maybe about the same time. But we used it for several years, and it's I think by far and large better than a simple written exam. So
how does the politics, what's it involved in this?
Well, you have unbiased assessors, so you're kind of taking some of the politics out of that. Even with a written test, with police and fire being governed under Kentucky revised statutes, you still have an established eligibility list. But with the assessment center, it's kind of more of a broad assessment rather than written skills.
Okay, so. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
No problem.
You do a fine job. Okay. Time to vote. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9C, city manager comments.
No comments tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. Item 10, communication from elected officials. Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
I have a problem that's stemming from the park.
What park?
Smothers Park. There was a woman and her dog walking in the fountains. And I don't know if if she could have been electrocuted, because those fountains have electrical parts. And I mean, I don't know if we don't have enough maybe security or something. I wasn't about to tell her to get out of the pond, I tell you that. but we, that riverfront is one of the gems of our city, and it's getting in bad repair. I've noticed some graffiti, and I've got some pictures and stuff. So I just wanted to, we need to look at that.
Okay.
And the other thing is, I want to acknowledge my son and my grandkids that came in from Richmond, Virginia today.
All right.
Son Lenny and my granddaughter Kennedy and my grandson Caden.
They didn't believe you were on the commission?
Now they know.
Okay, just checking.
No. And I do want to thank everybody else that's here today, because this is what we need, for you to come all the time, not just when we have a problem. Because as a community, we all have to work together, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Pro Tem.
Mayor, I don't have any comments at this time. Thank you.
Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor. Just
welcome.
a thank you to Mr. Collier and your group, getting people together just to say, hey, let's address this, let's make things work. And I'm sure you're about to address that possibly later this evening. Attended an event this past weekend for Lance Corporal Michael Wayne Simon, who passed away 51 years ago in Vietnam. It was an awesome sight to see his brother, who flew in from California, to embrace the son that he never got to see his dad grow up. As part of that ceremony of remembering was naming part of Highway 60, the old Highway 60, from about where McDonald's is now, east, over toward Reed Road. So you'll see a new sign that's up there in remembrance of him. It was the Simon family was there. It was a great turnout to see everyone on a Saturday afternoon remember someone who gave all for us to enjoy the liberties that we have. Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome, Commissioner Sanford.
Just real quick, I attended an event this weekend. It was a nonprofit, Owensboro Museum of Fine Arts, and Commissioner Smith-Wright was singing. And it's important because these guys, I think, are, you know, as a nonprofits, they have to think outside the box to do some things to raise funds. So, you know, they're not always coming to the city, and I thought it was a really good fundraiser, and I would encourage the other nonprofits we have out here. There's always something you can do, and think outside the box and come up with some new ideas to raise some funds, and it was a really good time, and it was well attended, and I'd like to see more of that. So that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Commissioner Smith-Wright, who's the boys? Never mind.
Husband and
Oh,
Charlie-
Jane?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Charlie
it was
Brown.
fun.
Oh, really?
Brown, yeah. David Kelly, Slats, Garland Parker.
Garland, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm missing somebody. Oh, Glenn Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the leader, I bet, wasn't he?
Who?
Glenn.
No.
Oh, you were? Well, I'm not going to go through all the events I attended this last week, but I will congratulate another successful Porch Fest.
Oh, that was great.
That has grown into something very special. Luckily, we were able to close the road completely, so you didn't have cars coming up and down through there while people were trying to visit. And the rain held off, and it was a really neat event put on by them. The city didn't have anything to do with it other than Arts boys taking care of a little police, and then we had a little, probably pick up a little bit, but it's very well attended. Didn't see anybody getting out of line, and it was a nice night. Okay, item 11, open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of the public concern that was not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from the city staff or the commission. And the mayor reserves the right to extend or reduce the time of the speaker. Timmy, yeah. And generally speaking, when we have an event like this, we like to have like a spokesperson for the group. You all are here, I think, for the same reason, and I think that's, you get more bang for your buck that way. Thank you. Make the print a little bigger next time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Timothy L. Collier, 1828 Calhoun Street, Owensboro, Kentucky.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to give honor to God. I'd like to thank the mayor for having us. I'd like to thank the city commissioners that are present. Thank you for all your efforts in trying to help us with the situation that we are under at this present time.
Timmy, could you stay as close to the mic as you can?
Okay.
We're on Facebook Live.
We're on Facebook Live. I got you.
You know what that is, don't you?
All right.
I don't know what it is.
Before I start, Mayor, I would like to ask this young lady, Miss Brianna Greer, to just kind of give you a little introduction
to
what's going on. She's one of our youth in the community, and I would love to have her involved in what's going on, so I'd like to have her just say a few words.
Okay, just state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay. Hello, I'm Brianna Greer, 2415 West 10th Street.
Hello.
And I come to speak about like the gun violence in our community. What I realize is that being a youth in the community, we have had a lot of gun violence this last few weeks and months. And I want to start off by saying I feel like, yes, the youth, we are the problem, but we need people to help us with that. So like one of the things I notice is we have young men out here doing things they have seen, because I feel as kids when we do what we see. So I feel as if as a community we should come together and at least try to get mentors for these young men to help them get in the right direction. And one thing I want to say is that even though we all want to save the community and help them, it doesn't take a crowd to do it. It could be something as simple as seeing a kid somewhere and ask them, hey, how are you doing? You go out for lunch today? You want to help? It can start from something like that. You don't need a crowd or a show to do something to help the community. And some of the things that I wanted to bring today was, one thing I suggested was Dugan Best hours. Most of the kids, most of the violence happens at Dugan Best. But I remember when I was younger, Dugan used to be open from 12 to 8.
When you were younger?
Well, when I was around 14 or 15.
Okay, all right, just checking.
Dugan Best was open to 12 to 8, and that really helped us because they had basketball, they had games, field trips, and fun. So at that time, we didn't really care about being outside at night because all our fun was taking place during the day. Another one that we came up with Alasia was the sports skill event, which will be coaches, fathers, mentors, and basically just come out and do stuff with the kids at Dugan Best. Like, say, like attorneys, city commissioners, come out and have a relationship with the community because that will also help, like, decrease the violence. And the last one I came up was the day in the park with the cops. I feel like it's important that we have a relationship with the cops because if we have a relationship with them, because after relation comes respect. And if we can respect them, we will listen to them. So I feel like these 3 things, Dugan Best hours, the sports skill event, and the day in the park should be issued because it will help decrease the crime and also will help kids stay out of trouble. And one thing I like to say is on July 14th at Dugan Best, I'm doing an event. It's going to be called Breaking the Cycle, and it's going to be able to help kids who have incarcerated parents to help them re-avoid incarceration. And I just it's for my nonprofit I'm going to start, but it's also for the community to help them like realize that you're more than what you think you are. Like, even though your parent may be incarcerated or something may have happened, you can still do something with your life. And I feel like that would be very effective to the community as well.
It's obvious you're a leader. Thank you very much. Well done. Tammy, I believe she stole the show, man.
Yeah, that's going to be really hard to follow. But thank you. Thank you for standing strong for what you believe in. Today we're here as concerned parents, community leaders, family members, just citizens of Owensboro. We're just here to come together to try to come up with a solution to some of the crime, some of the violence that's been happening in our communities, and also to be that median to the people that don't know where help is at, as far as a single parent mother or a young father who doesn't know how to raise his kid. You know, we're just trying to come up with solutions and ideas and put it all together so that we can try to help our community, not only our community, but our city and our county. Once again, I'm part of My Brother's Keepers, something that we just came up with that's needed in the neighborhoods, that's needed in our communities. And one of the proposals that we came up with was the Dugan Best Recreational Center, which she's already spoke on. She's given you all the information on that. So I'm gonna try to follow that, but I have to read this introduction. My Brother Keeper was formed as a grassroots community organization to give a voice and concern of parents, family, friends, and also the children. The group has a desire to invest in our communities and advocating for meaningful changes that will reduce violence, encourage community involvement, and promote personal development among the youth of Owensboro and Davis County. And a summary of our proposal is, our organization is proposing the Owensboro Park and Recreation extend its hours of operation at Dugan Best Recreational Center. Currently, the center is open from 10 to 6 p.m. when schools are not in session. We are asking that the city, we're asking the city to change the operation hours from 10 to 1 a.m., which is aligned with the current curfew hours set by the cities of Owensboro ordinance. Extended hours at this center will provide a setting for youth that offer supervised activities. And the background of the park is, Owensboro Park and Recreation website shares that the center provides a wholesome, quality, clean, and safe environment for youth and adults of the community. The center provides activities that can enhance the future goals of our youth and offer year-round recreation activities for all ages. It features a gym, a stage, a kitchen, a game room, team room, fitness room, and computer stations. A community recreation center can have a stabilizing effect on the lives of people it serves by providing safe, supervised, and adequately equipped spaces for activities. Community centers create the perfect setting for pickup basketball games, establish healthy exercise habits, providing local mentorships, programs, and offering other creative outlets. The role of the community recreation center is especially crucial for communities that lack necessary facilities to keep their children in safe environments. After school programs provide a refuge for at-risk youth, helping to reduce crime rates, court costs, and other costs to the community. Owensboro Park and Recreation has set a goal to secure grants and sponsorships funding to improve the fitness area within Dugan Best Recreational Center. Extending the operation hours and increasing use of its center amenities could assist in obtaining that funding. And the assessment, ensuring community youth have a healthy outlet for their creative and energy is an important step toward long-term community improvement. Discipline, self-esteem, and leadership are all qualities that are fostered in youth-focused programs offered in the vibrant community recreation center. Extending the operation hours is the first step toward reviving the role Dugan Best Recreation Center can play in the lives of our community. With that, Mayor and Commissioners, I would like to just add, you know, a lot of the crime rate has been focused on just the Dugan Best West End area. You know, these kids have one center that's city ran, and that's the Dugan Best Center. They don't have Chautauqua anymore. Chautauqua's been shut down. So of course, all these kids from all these different areas, all these different neighborhoods, and all these different counties, they have one place to go. You know, and how are we going to put all the blame on the kids if we're not providing some type of positive outlet for them to have somewhere to go? You know, there's a lot of those kids that doesn't even have food to eat. You know, there's a lot of those kids that doesn't have both parents at home, so they may know right from wrong, but they make bad judgments whenever they get around certain friends. So as a community and as a caring parent and a coach and just somebody who cares about his city, I'm just asking that the city just provide something, you know, some type of outlet for these kids that don't have an outlet, you know, and of course they're going to go to violence and they're going to go look up to these other people that are doing different things that are not quality things for their life. You know, we would just, you know, just ask, you know, and I know I break up when I talk because I really care, you know, and it hurts my heart and my soul to see some young man laying down there dead, or see some young female who doesn't have enough money to feed her kid, you know, who doesn't understand that there is funding in the city, but they don't know how to get to the funding. You know, we need to educate these kids while they're young. You know, the schools teach them how to read and write, but we need to teach them how to be young ladies and young men of our community because they represent Owensboro. You know, when they go outside of Owensboro, we want people to say, hey, those people are from Owensboro. You know, they're upstanding citizens. You know, and we talk about this park down here being the, I don't know how she worded it, being the gem of the city. It's not the gem of the city because there was inner city parks here before that park. You know, that some of us see as our gym that has been lacking in funds. You know, they don't have swimming pools. It's a lot that they don't have that the city could offer, that they could have. You know, and part of our foundation with My Brother's Keepers Foundation is, you know, we're willing to get out here and try to do some of the footwork to try to generate some funds to put back into our communities. You know, but I don't want it to just be a community thing. I want it to be a city thing.
Okay. I'm going to ask the city manager and our parks director, Amanda Rogers, to kind of get together, and they know a lot more about it than I do, and try and develop a plan to try and help you in your goals there. The city can just do so much, you know, and we're willing to partner with you and your group so that we can have a better outcome for the young people. There's no question about that. We spent over an hour, and you know, after Commissioner Condor asked you to call me, and so we could get together. And I think there's definite. We feel what you're saying, and we understand it, and we'll just, government moves slow. I hate it. I'm in the private sector, but we'll get the city manager and our assistant city manager and anybody else, the police, the fire, and they'll get together in a group and see what they can do to try and help the situation out. Because you're not alone in wanting to fix this problem, but it's just, it takes, as Hillary Clinton said, it takes a village. It takes everybody chipping in, and that's what we're going to try and do for you.
Thank
Okay?
you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We have one more proposal. And this one is about the city-sponsored youth summer program jobs that are no longer available for the kids once they get out of high school or once they get out of school for the summer. When I was a kid, we started working, I think, when we was 14. We had 13, sorry. We had summer job programs that the school system and the city provided for us once we got out of school for the summer. A lot of these kids that are out here doing these crimes, so to speak, they don't have an outlet. They trying to provide for their families. Some of them are trying to provide just to eat. They just don't have it. And of course, if somebody puts something in their hand and say, hey, you can make some money this way, a kid is going to go that direction if he doesn't have another direction to go.
I understand.
So with this summer youth summer job program that I'm about to present to you, I think it's really needed back in the city.
So that's a partnership with the Owensboro public school system? Is that what you were saying before?
Yeah, yes, sir. I know in Evansville that's how it was ran. I'm not really familiar
We'll
with
check it out.
But I have Michael Johnson here who could extend it a little bit more on that.
Okay.
Okay. I've already read the introduction. It's still the same, but the summary of the proposal is our organization is proposing the city of Owensboro sponsor a summer job program. The program would bring together government institutions, community-based organizations, local companies, and small businesses to offer employment and internship opportunities to the youth and young adults ages 14 to 24. Participants would typically work 5 hours a day for a minimum wage of $8 per hour, but employers who provide the salaries may offer increased hours and wages. And you can go on the background at www.owensboro.org page about Owensboro. Owensboro enjoys being the industrial, medical, retail, and cultural hub of Western Kentucky. As the second largest city in the tri-state region, there are many agencies, businesses, organizations that offer employment opportunities. Education and school systems: Owensboro's public schools, Davis County Public Schools, Diocese of Owensboro Catholic School System, Brushing University, Kentucky Wesleyan College, and Owensboro Community and Technical College. Multiple medical facilities include Owensboro Health Regional Hospital, as well as physician offices, therapy offices, and other diagnostic clinics. Entertainment and recreational facilities: Owensboro City Parks, River Park Center, Bluegrass Museum, Convention Center, just to name a few. Retail and food services, local small businesses. And the assessment of that, we believe giving young women and men a workplace and paycheck and mentors that they will be inspired and gain an excitement about their future. A summer job program will provide pathways to success for our young people. In both the short term and the long term, we are training a future workforce and providing productive opportunities for our younger residents.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
I think that deserves a round of applause. So I can see who this is.
Bill Moss, 2447 O'Brien Boulevard, Apartment B. Everything that Tim said, I agree with, but I'm gonna have to take a second look at the city commission and the mayor. I mean, you have budgets that you have every year, and I don't know if you're allocating any kind of money for the West End. I don't know how that process works. I don't know who's involved. So who represents minorities at those tables when you're discussing the budget?
Well, we represent everybody, Bill. It's not just one side or the other.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But it seems
Well,
like
Mr. Moss, I mean.
the funding is not the same. You don't see it. He just got through saying that there needs to be jobs, there needs to be things that are done in that area that probably needs more than, say, the south end or the east end. And I know you guys represent all the people, but we have a museum, we have other things that you fund, hundreds and thousands of dollars.
No
So you
question
can't,
about that.
yes, and you can't tell me that we can't look. It bothers me that we're coming to you. Why aren't you coming to us and asking us what we need? I mean, it works both ways. You all chose to be elected. You chose to be servants. So let's serve. Show me what that servant.
Well, I promise you, we're serving. It may not, you may not see it, but we are serving.
Oh, I see it. I read the budget. I know the budget. I read the comments that are made. Just the other day, OMU was in the newspaper. It was a reader's right about diversity. They didn't even say they used diversity. And you should be concerned about that. That's taxpayer. This is a diverse group of taxpayers. We all pay taxes. We should get the benefit of those taxes. And we should have a place at the table. I know you guys have budgets and you meet and do all those things, but my gosh, you're not representing everybody. And I may be wrong, but some people it's hard to speak because we all get nervous up here because we're not getting the vibes. I'm not getting a good vibe from you guys right now. And that bothers me because from a spiritual side, I didn't come up here to hate. I came in here to tell you what I feel.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, this time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We are adjourned.